So today I'm going to continue with the final part of the presentation on the Flywheel methodology, and that is the attract, engage, delight phase of this wheel. So here we go. We're going to look at these all in more detail. So just to summarize, previously we looked at strangers leading to prospects, becoming customers, and hopefully becoming your promoters. And I think I touched on this last week, that if you can apply some forces to each of those 4 areas, you may indeed have different people, different customers at different parts of that process, but that will become a ball of energy, a flywheel of energy that you can dissipate within your business and really help to grow your business, ultimately, the center of that flywheel. My favorite probably is promoters, because we're going to talk about that today, the journey of the attract, engage, delight cycle, because if you do this process well, it becomes almost your habit, and you will find that your best customers will become your evangelists. And rather than you going and finding new clients each time, everything becomes inbound, and you actually spend a lot less on your marketing. But of course, there's lots of things that you need to do before you can actually do that. So as I say, we have 3 stages of the methodology, which is to attract, engage, and delight. And we're going to start off, obviously, first of all, with the attract stage. So again, as I previously mentioned in my previous 2 episodes, we need to apply some forces to be able to actually get the attractors to engage with our useful content, and of course, make that journey really easy for them. So we need to make sure that we eliminate any possible barriers to them actually interacting and learning about your business. And by that, what I mean is there is no point, for example, let's say, putting everything on Facebook, because if it's a considered purchase, that person is going to need to find a little bit more about you to verify you and to make sure that their considered purchase is indeed trustworthy and going to deliver to what their expectations are. So, of course, if you then, for example, don't have a website where they can go and do some checking up on you, you've potentially put a barrier up now to them actually completing that process. An example of that, for example, in my daily life on my Facebook feed, I know I mentioned Facebook a lot. I tend to be a Facebook user rather than Insta, just my personal preference. And I will often see things like special offer, I've got cupcakes that are waiting to be picked up. They're all available to be picked up. They haven't even bothered to make a Facebook business page. It'll just be a name posted to a selling site. So even if I did want to go back and engage with them, I've got no way of finding them for the future to perhaps order a cake rather than seeing a free offer. And of course, if they haven't even bothered to make a Facebook page, the chance of finding a website for them are probably 0. So they've lost that moment. It's fine. It's quite a short-term approach. You can put some posts up. That's not a problem. But how are you going to capture and engage a visitor and actually keep them with you? Of course, the other problem is that sometimes people are almost forcing that attention and trying to make you engage with them. And I do really believe that you can't really force it. It's got to be something that's natural, authentic, sincere, all those things that we would all look for in our day-to-day lives. So what can we actually do in marketing terms to attract our customers and clients? Lots of methods here. I've got a few listed down for you. So we've got content marketing, search engine optimization, social media marketing, social media selling, paid advertising, and a big one at the end there, conversion rate optimization. So content marketing, we hear this buzzword a lot, probably the last 18 months or so. Speak to any marketeer and that's what they're going to tell you. You need to be marketing your content. You need to be looking at your blogs. You need to be putting good information out there. But they don't actually explain how you're going to do that. Again, that's where SF Digital probably are a little bit different. We like to sit down with our clients and actually go through what they're already doing, how they can do that better, and what potential improvements they can make to their content marketing. That's really important to us, because that is almost the key. There is no point a client coming to us and us just giving them a long list of things they need to do. It's just going to become overwhelmed, and the client's probably going to become turned off and actually not engage. So it's really important for us to understand their journey, where they are in their cycle with their business, and then help them to understand what they can do to improve things. Search engine optimization, absolutely vital. We know we all need to look at that for our websites. Just one caveat, and that is that obviously we say search engine. Let's face it, the reality is we're probably referring to Google. We know that Google is trying to give the user the best possible user experience. That's why 99% of us probably go to Google first. I appreciate there are many other search engines too, but beyond one or two, we probably couldn't even list a dozen unless we scratched our heads and sat down and listed them out. We also have to remember that obviously on Google, a lot of the upper half of that Google page has already been filled up. Paid advertising, Google My Business, then we finally come down to the organic searches. So yes, it's really important to optimize, but it's also important to bear in mind that the algorithms are constantly changing. We can't all be on page 1. And even 5 years ago when we realized, yes, I don't go to page 2, we already knew that. Now there are actually less positions even to be on page 1. So yes, we need to do it, but we need to pay attention probably to some other methods as well. Social media marketing. Now, as I've already touched on, it's important that you realize it's a touch point for your clients and your customers. It's a way of engaging with them. It's part of that journey of where they're looking to find you. So you're reducing the barriers to them engaging with you. They can see you. But if I can just say that, just as much as we hate pushy sales, we all shrug our shoulders and go, oh no, I don't want to be a pushy salesperson. Probably the matching phrase, if I may say, in marketing terms, would be wishy-washy, nondescript, non-planned marketing, because that is probably just as detrimental as a pushy sales technique. So your marketing, you've really got to think about it. Again, not just stick a post up there and think that, that's going to engage and that's going to win you business. There has to be a strategy in there. We've actually, our team now is growing. We've got full-time strategists for our own content marketing, whose role is not only to put out the content, but to also report back on the activity. This is really vital, because without that reporting back, we can't actually see whether our message is reaching our audience, and indeed, if we are getting the conversions that we're looking for. And it allows us to have a cycle of continual improvement. Literally this morning, actually, we've had another brainstorming session. We've decided to change something that has evolved over the last 6 months. And overnight, we've decided, no, that's got to change. So from next week, again, processes are about to be tweaked again. And we are going to change what we're going to be doing because we want to see some slightly different results and some improved results. As I joked with my team, good enough is not good enough. There is always room for improvement. So we are always striving to add something extra to what we're already delivering. Social media selling, obviously, it's self-explanatory. If you choose to go down that route and would like to sell on social media, of course, go for it. But it's a very funnel-based theory. It's important to start thinking, if you have followed this set of episodes, to start thinking about more of a circular, slightly more holistic approach to your selling, not just about closing the deal and winning the business. Okay, we come to paid advertising. So obviously we're talking, it might be YouTube ads, it could be Google ads, it could be banner ads. There are a number of methods that you can use to go down the paid advertising route. Obviously, normally when Azera is presenting, you have a very good insight in all of those areas, and of course the detail around Google ads and Google Analytics. So I'm not going to spend any time on that because there's quite a few other things that I can cover off for you. Of course, if you're interested in paid advertising, please do look up our channel and you'll be able to see lots of information there. And conversion rate optimization. Now, this is really, really important to pay attention to. We've managed to attract our audience by whatever the route. Let's say we've managed to get 100 people to our landing page. Now, we may find that for every 100 people that are attracted to our landing page, let's say 15 convert. Yes, sorry. So let's say, as I say, 100 people have been attracted to your landing page and 15% have converted. If we've got the data, which we should have, and the campaign has been set up correctly, the first thing we need to be looking at are the reports, the thing I just touched on a moment ago. Because we might find that by carrying out any number of actions, and I've listed a few for you here, it could be changing a headline, making our call to action better, improving our photo or video, changing a button color, shortening the form fields. Nobody wants to enter a form and have lots of fields that they need to fill in or write a very lengthy message. It turns them off. So we need to find that balance between engaging with our audience and actually getting them to take the next course of action, which is to get hopefully beyond the attract and actually become one of our customers. So by looking at some of these things, we will find that actually we've managed to get another 2% uplift, another 5% uplift. We've already spent the money to attract the 100. So if we can get another 2, 3, 5, 10% conversion added on top, we've not actually had to pay for it. We've already done it. And this is why it's important to start looking at these things, to review them. Again, I call this money on the table. We're often so busy as businesses chasing down the new leads, attracting new customers, trying to find a new person that we can interact with. We forget that we already have an audience that's warm to us. It's time to actually nurture those a bit better and see what we can do to improve their experience. So let's say we've managed to capture our audience, we've managed to get them attracted to us. What are we going to do to actually engage with them? So the first thing we need to do is think about how we're going to make it really, really simple for them to shop, buy, our product or our services, and make that really as smooth a process as we can. Now, that could be a website if obviously you have a product to sell. Slightly trickier, obviously, if you are a service, because it's not something you're going to click and add to a cart. This is where it gets really important to start thinking about how you're going to reduce the friction in your system. We talked about friction in the Flywheel previously, and this is one of those frictions. We've got to minimize that to make sure that we can engage with our audience.